Hello and welcome to FPL Natty. Game week 2 is over and game week 3 is only hours away. So before we get into that, let's have a review on what game week 2 done for me. As you guys know already, a lot of you who watch my channel haven't subscribed. You know what to do. It's down there below. Subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, press that bell so you know when I'm going to be posting. Also follow me on TikTok as well. I do daily memes and chats about football in general and also my FPL teams in a different kind of content way. And yeah, if you haven't joined my mini league as well, it's not too late. We're only at game week number 2, so I need you guys to join my league. There's a few of us in there, but I know many of you more can click that auto link. It's in the description below. But let's not waste time. Let's get straight into how I did for game week number 2 and what team I'm going to be looking at for game week number 3. As you can see, for game week number 2, I took a red arrow, but I'm not too worried, to be honest, because at this early stage it doesn't really matter. What really matters, as Andy said, and let's talk FPL, is what your score is at the end of game week number 38. So game week number 2, took a red arrow. I got 51 points, which meant I was down about 21%. I got this information from livefpl.net, and also I am a member of the Fantasy Football Hub, and I can leave the link for that down there below. So yeah, my overall rank is 131. No, that's not right. My overall points is 131. Overall rank is 800,065,000. Wow, can't even speak. 865,442. So I'm still under 1 million, which is not too bad, but I was down about 155,000 places. So as you can see from the graphic there, I am 28 points off of the top 10k. I'm really trying to keep that gap as close as possible because sometimes it just gets away from you. But whatever. Let's have a look at some people that I feel kind of messed up my game week a little bit. Starting with my midfield, if you're talking about Eze, Saka and Rashford with a combined total of 7 points, yeah, that was a pretty big L for me. But I think the biggest one for a lot of people, which gave them a red arrow, was the captain choice. And I had Haaland. He had, obviously, we know that Haaland has like 91% ownership already. 5.7 managers gave him the captain's armband, including me, and he didn't do anything. He had a lot of chances that was available to him, but unfortunately he couldn't take them at the time, and it meant he only gave me 4 points in total. But let's talk about the positives. Let's start with Estupinian. Look at that, an assist and the goal. It didn't really matter that he got a yellow card, to be honest, because 11 points from this defender. He is on hot form right now. But the man of the match this game week has to be Embuemo from Brentford. His run of fixtures is looking really good, but look what he's done. He's got 2 goals and he scored a penalty as well that gave him 16 points. He's not going to leave my squad anytime soon. But someone who I am looking to move on, and we'll discuss that further, is possibly one of my forwards. His name is João Pedro, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, overall 51 points. It's not amazing, but it is what it is, and we just have to move on and see what happens going forwards. Now, there are some transfers that I am looking at for this week, but the first thing I usually do for this game week in this new season is go on the Fantasy Football AI Tool Hub. And it just kind of lets me know, recommends to me what kind of transfers I should be looking at this week based on my team. So at the moment, it's recommended that I make these 2 transfers, and one is taking Richarlison out for Foden, the second is taking Watkins out for Jackson. And if you're looking at that graphic, you might be like, okay, well, it looks like they can have similar points or whatever. But we've seen how all 4 of these teams play. If we're talking about Richarlison out for Foden, Foden is in great form at the minute. Okay, and if we're talking about Watkins for Jackson, Jackson has much better fixtures than Watkins has, and we saw. Anyway, we'll talk about. Let's go into detail in this in a second. So I have 2 free transfers this week, and I'm undecided on how many of those I'm going to leave, how many of those I'm actually going to use. And there are a few players in my team that are on my radar to get rid. One is Gabriel, João Pedro, and Richarlison. Possibly Watkins as well if I want to bring in Jackson. So those are the 4 players that I am undecided about this week. I do expect Gabriel and João Pedro to start this week. As I know, Gabriel and the Arsenal situation, Tomiyasu is injured. Tomiyasu is suspended and Timber is injured, so it's most likely that he's going to start this game week. And if we're talking about João Pedro, we saw this week that Enciso is going to miss out because he's got a knee injury. So I might look to just keep both of those guys this week and see what happens, because Brighton's fixtures do kind of switch up a little bit. So I might be looking to hold on to them for this game week and then move on to them a bit later on. If we're talking about if I want to bring in Foden, he is in good form and does have really good fixtures, but the key player I'm looking at this week might be Jackson. He is predicted to score the most points out of any Chelsea player of the next 5 game weeks. They're facing Luton Town and then Nottingham Forest at home, followed by away trips to Bournemouth, Villa and Fulham. And I know that he is the sole striker at Chelsea at the moment with an XG of 1.32 in his first 2 game weeks, with no goals as of yet, but they are coming as he has a strong link-up play with Raheem Sterling, and we know that with a good XG and the chances created, goals will be coming. In my team currently, you saw that Rashford hasn't done much. Pretty much most of my Man United guys haven't done much in the first 2 game weeks. But I'm going to keep Rashford because I don't see it making sense to take him out right now, considering what's going to be coming ahead. I know Højlund might make an appearance this week against Nottingham Forest. And to be honest, there are players that I feel like are in a worse position in my team that I want to look at. So let's have a look at what my team might look like for game week number 3. Starting off with Onana, as I said, they have Nottingham Forest at home, Manchester United, and usually at home they are very, very strong. I know that he done well against Wolves at home. He got me 9 points in the game at number 1. A lot of save points, could have got a penalty, but I won't talk about that. But yeah, he is looking like the player that I really want to have, particularly over my bench goalkeeper, which is Johnson at the moment, and Crystal Palace have Arsenal. So Onana is kind of a no-brainer to kind of keep him in my squad. And with a back 3, I have gone with Chilwell, Estupinian, and currently Gabriel. Chilwell right now, whose ownership is increasing at a dramatic rate, currently now at 5.7, so that is 2 price rises that he has. And Chelsea do have a great fixture list, as I've told you earlier. Chelsea do have Luton this game week, and as we know, Luton, I think they conceded about 4 goals in the first game week. They had a blank last week, but I don't see things changing much for them as they play Chelsea. Chelsea are a formidable team in attack against a newly promoted team. Chelsea aren't amazing, but against a team like Luton, I don't think that, yeah, they're not going to stand a chance. And Chilwell himself has great attacking threat. He's got the second highest expected goal involvement among the defenders, and he looks like an attacker when he goes forward with goals and assists. He's looking very, very strong. Alongside him, I've spoken to you about Estupinian already. He's in great form, and his price now is at 5.2. It's increasing, 62% ownership at the time of this recording. And not owning him isn't really an option, in my opinion. I think you have to have him in your squad. And then my final defender, I'm still undecided about Gabriel or Henry. Those are my 2 options. Currently, Gabriel hasn't really featured much in the 2 games with Arteta, and there's had been over 500 transfers of him out already, which is why he has a price drop. I think his price now is about 4.9. But as I mentioned before, with injuries and suspensions in that Arsenal team, there is a good chance that he does play. And obviously, I saw today that Kieran Tierney is gone as well. So I think that Gabriel will start against Fulham at the Emirates Stadium this game week. There is a possibility that I do move him out for Diaz or Guavido, and those are both Manchester City assets, but I won't do it this week. I do have 2 transfers, but I think I can play either Henry or Gabriel, so I'm probably going to keep this guy in my squad for this game week. So talking about Henry, I keep trying to say Henry because it's spelled the same way, but talking about Henry for Brentford, he is a possibility if I do take out Gabriel. He's a great budget defender. I think he's about 4.5 5 or something like that, and he already has an assist to his name. Brentford do have a good game this game week, but I think that Arsenal have the better game, particularly against Fulham, who aren't very strong in attack. But yes, I'm gonna keep Henry. He's not going anywhere. He looks good going forward, as Brentford's fixtures are very good. Onto my midfield. So first of all, Mbeumo. He's a standout player currently, as I said before. If you don't have him, you need to get him. Okay, he's a forward playing as a midfielder, and we know how it is with Wissa. Wissa usually comes off around the 75th minute, so it means that Mbeumo becomes the sole striker anyways, so he gives you those kind of points where you didn't expect it as a striker. He started 7 games without Ivan Toney, registering 11 big chances, scoring 8 goals and collecting 71 FPL points. And as I mentioned before, he is on penalties as well, so it just makes sense that you have to have him if you don't have him already. Just bring him in. He's kind of a set and forget guy right now with the fixtures that Brentford have. A new guy I'm bringing in is Phil Foden. They have a fixture this week away to Sheffield United, and they're going to smash them, in my opinion. Foden is only 7.6 million, and he's only 13% owned, so it's still very much a differential, in my opinion. And only 40,000 managers out of millions have transferred him this game week. I am one of those who is going to transfer him in this game week. We saw what he did last week against Newcastle. He was on fire. He got 9 points, which was 1 assist, and he had an XGI of 0.86. Now, with the City squad, they have no Mahrez and currently no De Bruyne. And obviously, Gundogan is gone. So with Bernardo kind of coming... Well, he's not in the squad at the minute, but with him coming back, I think that Foden is a great buy if you don't have him already, particularly for the long term. These are the fixtures that Manchester City have. They've got Sheffield United, I said, this game week. The next week, they've got Fulham at home, followed by West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves. So it literally just makes sense to me to bring him in. I'm replacing him with Richarlison, who I've been very unsure about for a while now. I say a while, it's only been 2 game weeks, but I just don't, until I see him bring some goals in, yeah, he's not coming back in my squad. So to make up the next 2 in my midfield, first of all is Saka. One thing about Saka that I am worried about is the fact he gave his penalty last week to Odegaard, which tells me if there's another penalty, he's going to give that to Odegaard as well. The manager didn't know what was going on. He said he had no clue that Odegaard was going to take the penalty, and that it was a decision that was taken by the players on the pitch. The only saving grace in keeping Saka is that he does play 90 minutes, and he's a very good player. He's attacking, he's very good on his left foot, which you saw in game week number 1 when he gave like 11 points, something like that. He did blank last week. But just in general, Saka is a good player to have. And the last player to make up my 4-man midfield is Rashford. I think I'm going to give him at least a week more against Nottingham Forest. It doesn't make sense me taking him out against Nottingham Forest, who we know concede a lot of goals. But what did Rashford do last season off the left was absolutely fantastic. So I'm hoping that Martial, who played in a kind of friendly game against Burnley this week, will come in against Nottingham Forest, play in the middle. Rashford goes out on the left, and then he can hit the heights he did last season up front. So that means I've gone with a 3-man midfield. So let's just start with João Pedro. Yeah, I don't really want him in my squad. I'll just be honest with you. I don't really want him. But I can't afford to bring in Jackson at the minute currently. The only option I can make is to take out Watkins. And I don't necessarily want to take out Watkins right now. So talking about João Pedro, he has West Ham United at home. So I think he can do bits against them. It kind of makes sense that he stays in my squad maybe 1 more week because of the injury to Enciso, and then we can look at changing him maybe in the future. But one person who isn't going for my squad is Erling Haaland. Yes, he did blank against Newcastle, missed quite a few good chances, but he had 4 shots in the box. You know, his expected goal involvement is 0.35, and it's very difficult to go against him versus the newly promoted team in Sheffield United. City are very strong in attack, as we know, and with Alvarez as well and Foden in the front line, I think it will be too much for Sheffield United to control this front three. He will play 90 minutes because there's no Champions League. So with no Champions League, Foden does play 90 minutes. That won't happen until at least game week number 4 or 5 when these minutes might be managed. And there is a predicted points of 8.3 from Erling Haaland. So he will be my captain for sure. But alongside him in my front forward line is Ollie Watkins. I will be keeping him for this game week against his fixture against Burnley away. Ollie Watkins is a tricky one, I think, purely because first of all, he is not on penalties. We saw that David Luiz has been on penalties in Ollie Watkins' place, and also he's been getting subbed off early. He's not been playing 90 minutes, and we saw last game week he got subbed off. I think Diaby came on and scored straight away. Could that chance have gone to Ollie Watkins? I don't know. So possibly he might be a player I might be keeping a look at for the next game week to see how he does. Hopefully he overperforms and does well before I look to move him on, maybe for Alvarez or someone else who has better fixtures. But just in general, Villa have an expected goal of 1.66, and I just think there's going to be too much for Burnley away. Even though Burnley are a strong side, I think that Aston Villa are so much better. In regards to Ollie Watkins himself, he is the third highest predicted scoring forward for this game week with a predicted score of 4.9 points. And this information I have gotten from the Fantasy Football Hub AI tool. As I said before, if you don't have it already, go and get it. It's like 50% off right now. Why would you not get it? There's so many stats on there, so many great things that you can have on there that will help you with your mini leagues and stuff like that. So this is my team, 3-4-3 formation. I think it's a strong formation. I think there's some good players in there. I'm slightly worried about having Pedro in my squad at the minute. That's probably one of the main ones that I really don't want to have. And there is a risk there with Gabriel, but if he doesn't play, then Henry will come in anyway. So I'm not really too fussed about that. So let's look at my captain choice already. There we go. I said to you, it will be Erling Haaland. There's no point even going forwards from that. He's just going to be the guy. He's going to get like 12 points. It's guaranteed, right? And my bench, look there. So Johnston and Eze, they both have Brentford away. Okay. And I think Brentford will score against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are not good away from home. This has been going on for a while now. They're not that much better away from home. They're good at home, but away from home they're not very good. And Brentford at home are very good, and just in general they are a better team. So I think Onana has a better fixture than Johnson. Also, I didn't want to bring Eze in this week because I think Arsenal do have a strong defense, and I'm just not really sure about who I will take out in this squad for Eze. I think Eze is probably one of the weaker ones I would have put in my team. Henry there, again, that's a last minute decision. I may look to switch out for Gabriel, but I think that Gabriel has the better fixture, as I've mentioned already. And Kabore, yeah, Luton, they're going to get smashed against Chelsea, in my opinion. So that is my team, 3-4-3. Let me know what you think below. Should I make some changes, or is my team actually alright? Let me know in the comments below. So there it is, FPL family. That is my team for game week number 3. There are some last minute. You know what? Today I'm going to look at Twitter. I'm going to watch a couple more things, read a couple more articles, and see what I'm going to do, because I might look to just move or tweak some stuff around. But to be honest, what I've done there, I don't want to overthink it, to be honest. And it's so early in the season. There are some changes that I've made, and I just kind of just want to stick to them and just have faith in the choices that I've made. I have good pros and cons for all decisions I've made. But let me know if you think there's a player that I have genuinely missed out for this game week. I think I'm going to get a score of around 65 points this game week. I'm going to get a fat green arrow. It's going to push me right up. I might even make the top 400k, I reckon. That's my prediction for this game week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But as you know, you can't comment unless you have subscribed. So subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you like this content and this information I prepared meticulously, stressed out for you guys. As well, follow me on TikTok. Add me to the mini league, or add yourself to the mini league. Just press it. You will join either this game week or the following game week. I want to see more of you guys in there. But most importantly, take care of yourself and each other, and I will see you guys in the next one.